Okay, I think we are going to start. So welcome to our talk on our residential this year to Morfa Bay. We went for the first time last summer and it was a huge success. So this is just an opportunity for you as parents to find out more about the trip and ask any questions at the end as well. Okay, so why do we organise residential visits? There's huge personal development and educational benefits. The children really enjoy experiencing new activities and challenges, things that they wouldn't normally do. It gives them a chance to be away from home, sometimes for the first time, especially since we've experienced COVID. A lot of children may not have had sleepovers and been away from their parents. So this gives them the opportunity to give that bit of independence and time with their friends. It also gives great interpersonal skills which can be used in the future. Things like leadership can be learned on trips like this, flexibility, patience, those kind of skills they come away with. And learning is just generally more fun and effective when you are having fun.
Okay, so where is Morfa Bay? Well, Morfa Bay is in South Wales, quite close to Tenby, just not quite as far as Tenby, but quite close to Tenby. We're going to be leaving on Friday, the 1st of July. We go via coach, and at the moment the coach company has to be confirmed, obviously, but last year we had a 70-seater coach which took us all down there with all the staff. So we normally take about 6 staff with us. Which is within the guidelines, and the inward journey. So we leave about 8 o'clock in the morning, first of all, when we go, getting there about 11 o'clock. It takes about 3 hours altogether. And on the Monday, coming back on the 4th of July, we leave the centre at lunchtime, about 12 o'clock. And we're usually back just before the end of the school day. So that's okay for you for pick-up as normal. We usually stop as well on the way down, because last year we didn't have a toilet on the bus, so that was quite amusing. But we stopped at one of the service stations halfway round about Swansea, which was actually quite nice. So that was really good, and the children were brilliant. So.
Okay, so where is Morfa Bay? It is located just 1 kilometre from a couple of beaches. We've got MorfaBay, which is a top picture with some of last year's cohort on the beach there. And we've got Pendine Sands, which is a big bay where you can see some of our children paddleboarding in the water there. With the MorfaBay, we go there on one of the first evening entertainments. We go for a walk there, and there's lots of large pebbles and fossilized fish and things for the children to find. The Pendine Sands is where sea activities take place, such as stand-up paddleboard, but we might do surfing or sea kayaking or bodyboarding too. So it's really close to the beach, which is fantastic.
So what's Morfa Bay, the centre, like? Well, the lodges are for the accommodation for the children are in these big brown lodges that you can see there with bunk beds. Each lodge takes about 20 children in them. There is separate little bits for those that are maybe a little bit more timid. So they have like 6 beds at the back of the 20 bedded bit. But last year we had them all in the 20 bedded areas, and there was 3 of those bunks. The good thing for us is because we go over a long weekend, that we are the only school at Morfa Bay at the time. No other school will go at a weekend, so that's really quite good. And it was great for us because it did give the children where the thing is in the outskirts of a village. It's extremely safe, and so the children had the run of the centre really without having to think about other schools being there. If we go during the week, then other schools share the facilities with us. So it was actually quite nice just to have that to ourselves. So we do have a little bit of flexibility because they have other accommodation blocks as well. And so if there's any children with any individual needs, we can take that into consideration as well, because we have the run of the whole of the centre. The top photo there is actually to do with, that's where we go for free time, where they've got snooker and table tennis there. There's nice sofas there for them to relax on, and it's right next to the dining room. So we do tend to congregate there just as we're getting ready for any activities.
Yeah, there's also a nice fire just at the back there as well, where after sea activities, if you've got wet clothes, you can dry yourself off there as well. And if you're a bit cold, you can go and sit by the fire and warm up. Okay, other facilities, there is a large conference hall. Sometimes when we first get there, we gather here just to listen to instructors, but it's also a place where you can oversee a lot of the activities, which are, you can see the view in the top left corner from the balcony. Well, that looks down onto where all the climbing and the zip wire, the crate stack, and the high ropes courses as well. So you can, if you just want to watch and relax, or you're not feeling too good, you can go there with an adult and still watch your friends and peers do the activities. We also watched the football game in there last summer, but we don't need to talk about that because England lost. But it was great. It's good use. There's also in there is other table tennis tables, and there's a toilet block as well too. And like I said, here we've got Wi-Fi there, so we can send pictures back and emails back to. How do we do it last year? Actually, we did it on parent mail, yeah, and we also did it on Twitter. Last year, on our Twitter account. So lots of photos on Twitter, but also we can send information back to the office at school, who can send it out to parents as well via parent mail. The Roundhouse, this area is where basically we had an incredible barbecue served here on the last evening, the Sunday night. But it's just a nice, lovely roundhouse, really, where yeah, we just had a massive barbecue here, to be honest. It can be used as well to meet before you head out to do some of the activities. But like I said, last year it was perfect for our little barbecue on this final evening. Okay, one thing we do have to say to you is the food was incredible. Having been both in France a few years ago with the Year 6 and also here, I think this place got the thumbs up for food. There was more than enough food for the children to eat, and the actual food itself, we didn't have any complaints. Even from the fussy eaters, we had no complaints about the food at all. They did an amazing amount of stuff. So usually for breakfast, there was a choice of cereals and as much toast as they wanted to eat. There might have been some yogurt or fruit as well. And on the Sunday, they made us pancakes and maple syrup, which, as well as their cereals, which was fantastic for the children. Lunch was a mixture between filled baguettes one day, and then on the Sunday they did us pizza, which was really lovely. And then dinner on the Sunday was the barbecue, as we say, but they do a real mixture. We had spaghetti bolognese, we had curry, we had chicken nuggets and chips. We had a real mixture of food, which was lovely. So it did suit lots and lots of different children. They got the choice of a choice of meals as well. So that was great. They also did cater for different dietary options, so vegetarians, myself, I'm gluten-free. They managed that absolutely perfectly. So any dietary problems, they can also managed to cater for, which was fantastic. So yeah, the children really loved it. And on the Saturday night, they even went the extra mile, because they ended up getting a local ice cream van to come up so the children could buy an ice cream on the Saturday night for us as well. So it was really brilliant. They got that at a discounted price. So it was really, really good. They really did go the extra mile for us. Yeah, the Morfa Bay staff, all staff are CRB checked. All instructors are fully qualified. They go for a rigorous training program, and they were really, really good with the children. When we were doing the climbing and the high ropes course, if some children were a bit wobbly, just need a bit of a confidence boost, their staff were amazing, phenomenal with them, yeah, and really got them to challenge themselves and go that extra step if they could, without being too forceful. They were just lovely with the children, so we were really impressed with them. Yeah.
Okay, typical activities that we do when we're there. It will depend on the staff that are available for us when we go for that weekend in particular. But the nice thing about it is where the climbing wall, the high ropes, the crate stacking, the Jacob's ladder, the zip wire is all right next to each other. So although they get split into smaller groups to actually do the activities were right next to each other. So they could still see their other friends from their classes, etc., doing different activities and encourage each other, which was really lovely. So that was really, really good. As we've already said, the first night we tended to do the beach walk, and then the following day we split off into different groups. This is actually on an example program. So they have archery there, they do mountain biking, there's like an assault course on the mountain bikes, which is great. We have high ropes, zip wire, the mud assault course, which all the girls kind of went, ew. But actually when they did it, they absolutely loved it. Please, 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 no good clothes, whatever you do, because the children definitely got very wet and very, very muddy, but loved every single minute of it. There was caving there. We didn't do caving last year, but we did do the different sea activities. So we did actually go down and do some stand-up paddle boarding, and the kids loved that. That was really terrific. So yeah.
All the equipment there for all the activities is really top class, because they had a lot of investment recently. They had nearly £1 million worth of money spent on the equipment. So it is really, it's all completely safe, and it's like new, and it's just fantastic. We were really impressed. So here are a couple of pictures from last year's cohort. There you can see on the right hand side, there is the bike track. It's not dangerous at all. It's just, it is up and down, but it's really great fun. And the bikes are a really high standard as well. Everyone had a great time on those. There on the top left, though, there's the main climbing wall, and to the right you can see the tires, Jacob's ladder. That's the high ropes course, and to the left of the climbing wall is the crate stack. You can see a couple of children climbing on some of those crates. And the bottom left here is one of our children going down the zip wire. There are 2 levels to the zip wire, so it is every activity is kind of differentiated, and you just try and do your best. So there's no pressure to get up to the highest point. There's always something each child can do, and like I said, the instructors and us as teachers, we just try and get them to get out of their comfort zone, but with no pressure at all. If they don't do any further, that's absolutely fine too, but it's just to do your best, really.
So a typical day was wake up. It says 8 AM here, but actually it was about, it's supposed to be 7:30, but quite honestly, sometimes it was 6 o'clock, maybe even 5:30, but that was only excitement. But on the whole, 7:30, we wake them up if they're not awake, which by the last day, we were definitely wakening them all up. About 8:30 is breakfast, and then at 9:30, they start their first activity. That goes on till lunchtime. There's usually 2 activities in the morning before lunch. And then after lunch, we do another activity, then dinner, and then an evening activity as well. So that was a typical day. The children are then encouraged, the evening activities finished about 9 o'clock at night, and then they were encouraged then to get ready for bed and settle down for bed. Something I forgot to say earlier when I was on about the accommodation was, so the children are in 3 large bunked areas. And then when it came to the staff accommodation, the staff accommodation is right next to those 3 bunked areas for the children. So we had a separate accommodation. That's the staff that go on the trip from here take it in turns to be on duty of an evening throughout the night. And so the children know which chalet to go and knock on the door, so that if they do wake up in the middle of the night, they know who to come to get any help that they perhaps need, or even if they're just worried or upset, then they know which staff member to come to, and then we can go back to the dormitory with them and sit with them till they're asleep again. So they're encouraged about 9 o'clock, and usually lights were out and everybody asleep pretty much by 10:30, I think, really. So it was quite good.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a kind of a kit list. We will give you a proper confirmed kit list a bit closer to the time. But yeah, like Mrs. Moss said earlier, old trainers, old t-shirts, old shorts, things that you don't mind getting muddy and maybe a bit ruined, because on the what's it called, the mud assault course, you know, you do in tight gaps, you do crawl around in mud, you know, you might catch stuff on things, but so just old trainers and old shirts and old shorts. Indoor shoes for when you're inside, warm clothing, fleeces, sleeping bags and pillows are necessary as well for nighttime, towels and toiletries, a small rucksack, soft luggage bag, and because some children last year, even though we did say a soft luggage bag, came with quite huge holdalls, which looked like they were going for a 2-week holiday to America or something. This is we just want a small soft, soft holdall, really. Waterproof coat, sun cream, sun hat. We did have some nice days actually last year, that's good. And a water bottle that they can fill up. There is like water, there's taps around that provide fresh, clean water that you can drink from. But like I said, we'll send you out a more detailed kit list close to the time. So we're going to show you a little video now, just so you can kind of see what the accommodation looks like, see some of the activities being done by some other schools yet, and then we'll give you a chance to ask any questions after this short video.
Just to say, I'm sure on the video you realised there was a lot of older secondary school children there. But just to remind you again that actually when we go, we are the only school that will be there. So the activities and everything are obviously made more for the age of the children rather than some of the things that you might have seen on there.
Okay, so is there any questions that any of you have that we could answer now? We understand if there's a specific question that you have about your child, you might want to come and see us in confidence, and we can talk it through just one-on-one. But if there's any general questions you don't mind asking, I would be happy to answer any at this point in the presentation.
How much money can we bring in?
Hello. Sorry, say again.
How much money could we bring in?
How much?
Hi, Jasper.
Hi.
So Jasper, we don't encourage an awful lot of money. Last year, I think the children took about £10 each. There is a small gift shop there, and you probably also saw there's some vending machines there. Parents, don't worry, we don't allow them to go and spend all of their money on vending machines all day long. They get one trip to the vending machine each day, and that was it. And they were only allowed to buy one drink and maybe 2 other eating items each day. So we do monitor that. There is a small gift shop there that had, you know, pencils, hoodies. So they were a little bit more expensive than the £10, but there was different little teddy bears, those sort of things there. Rubbers. So yeah, rubbers and pens and goodness knows all what. So rock, yeah. Different things at the place. So there is a little gift shop, but it really, you know, that's up to you whether you want them to be able to take money or not. We'll probably say £10 to £15 maximum. Thank you for your question. Anybody else at all?
So on the France trip, maybe the children would get to speak French. On this trip, are they going to get to speak Welsh?
Yes. As we don't teach Welsh in the school, probably not.
It's just a cheeky question.
Yeah, probably I would imagine that some of the staff probably do speak Welsh, so I would have thought that if they really want to learn some Welsh and have a conversation, I think the staff probably
some
would
of
be
the
quite
instructors,
happy.
yeah, the staff there, they did teach our children last summer some French phrases and words, so they do get a little bit of a Welsh lesson, but there isn't really a shop we go to for them to ask. Like in France, we'd go and buy an ice cream and speak in French to buy that ice cream. There's not really a shop. Yeah, I guess the gift shop, but yeah, they didn't try and speak Welsh to us.
No,
they might learn some and try and do that. They could do.
They could do.
Any other questions? I think Kim wanted to know how many people in like a, you know, in the sleeping, you know, rooms together.
Yeah, each of the bunked beds, they take 20 children. So there's 10 bunk beds in each of the dormitories, basically. And there's 20 children in each one. Last year we had 2 girls dormitories and 2 boys. Oh, so there's four dormitories that take 20 each. Sorry. Yeah. So last year we had enough for 80 children, and I think 56 children came with us. So you know, it depends on how many children come with us as to how many would be in each of the dormitories, if you see what I mean.
Thanks.
But because, like Ms. Moss said earlier, because we've got the whole place to ourselves, we can, if there are children who want to be in smaller groups, we can arrange that, with the staff there. That's not a problem.
In saying that, though, it's not if they want to be, it's if they have a specific need that would make them need to be in a smaller group. Really, we can arrange that with the centre. Any other questions at all?
Could I ask, is the space like quite private, so they wouldn't come across other families or children or?
No. So if you can imagine, where the beach is right down, it's about a kilometre down a very steep hill, down to the main part of the seafront. At the top where the actual centre is, it's right on the outskirts of a village. So it's very, very small village. There's no shops there. There's only 1 or 2 houses and a church. And we're right at the end of that, down a cul-de-sac. The centre has been there for well over 20 years. So the villagers are more than used to the children being there. When we were there, we didn't see anybody else come anywhere near the place at all. There's a member of staff, of their staff, on call at night who actually stay there in the place, but we're the ones responsible for the children all of the time that we're there. So that's why we take at least six members of staff. But no, it's very, very safe where it is. It's all gated off, and it really is quite safe with the playing fields round about us. So most of the activities, apart from the sea activities, all the other activities are on site. So, you know, the children can't go wandering off or anything without us. We really did have a fabulous time last year. We were absolutely delighted with the facilities that were there and the safety that they had gone to, particularly with COVID. It was fantastic, really, really good. Does that answer your question okay?
Yeah, that was great. That was perfect. Sounds really exciting.
It is lovely, yeah. Anybody else at all? It's often hard to think of questions, isn't it, when you're sitting there?
Yeah, if you do think of a
Yeah.
question that you wish you had asked, please, you can email the office and they'll send it to us and we can get in contact with you.
Perhaps just one thing to say as well is we've put a figure of about £230 on it. That could be up or down a little bit. Last year, if I tell you how we got to that figure, last year it cost £215 for the 4 days and 3 nights away. That included the coach, all of the food, the accommodation, everything. So basically, we're kind of thinking, because we haven't obviously got the coach prices in yet, the way petrol's gone up in price, etc. Possibly we've put a few more pounds on it just to allow that. So last year it was 215. We've said around 230. I can't see it being much more than that at all. So we would obviously let you know as soon as we know the final price. We will let you know as well and pass that on to you. But it was extremely good value for money considering what the children got there. It was really good.
So just to confirm, then the next steps from this are for us to kind of pay for the deposit, and that's kind of a confirmation of a place, and then you'll take it from there, depending on how many other families across the year group are happy to do this. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if we don't have enough children, basically the trip won't be viable because it would end up being too expensive for the ones that do want to go. So, and that defeats the purpose of it really as well. So really, we're waiting to see just how many of you wanted to take this up really. But we really couldn't speak highly enough for the place at all. And it's 3 hours away as well. That was the other thing. When we went to France before, it was such a long journey, and added more days onto it, added more cost onto it. Now with Brexit, we don't even know how the passports and things would work out for the children. So going there, it's only 3 hours away. If anybody was ill or anything, we can get them home again, which is good really, so yeah. So the next step would be, if you really want your child to go, then to pay the £40 deposit really. And there's also those slips as well, if you don't want to pay the deposit just yet, because you've got another few weeks up until half term to do it. Just send back the slip telling us that you're interested, and then at least we know to go ahead with all the arrangements. So if you send the slip that was at the bottom of that letter, that will give us all an idea of whether your child wants to go or not. If you send the slip back, at least we will know one way or the other how many are interested. Any other questions? If not, we'll stop. Sometimes some people don't like to ask in front of everybody, so we're quite happy if you want to catch us at the end of the day or anything, that'll be fine. No.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, and I do apologise again for the late start. Yeah, hopefully, yeah, we'll get your slips back and we can proceed with the next part of this residential trip.
Yeah,
okay.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.